It's no secret, although even before this podcast, that we know that the American social and political discourse is broken. You have, especially now with the 2024 election coming up, but even before, everything has been weaponized. Every discussion, a lot of decisions I thought that were being made early on in the Biden presidency was sort of like, well, if Trump said A, I have to say B. And, Trump would come back and saying, well, what do you expect? These guys are et cetera, et cetera. Where we don't have a lot of discussions going on. Everything is now in absolute terms. I think social media has a lot to do with it because you can say what you want and no accountability, whatsoever. But I do think it's a worthwhile effort, and I think your organization has a role to play. We have to claw ourselves back here in America so we have some middle ground so we can actually talk and disagree. Now, forget about before we can agree. It's interesting about USERF, this commission that I'm on. It's mandated by Congress. There are 9 commissioners, 3 from the president and 2 each from the Democrat, Republican, Senate, and House leadership. But they're mandated by law to act in a bipartisan way. We may be the last of the Mohegans, okay? But it's very interesting because the people who are chosen, have a life. We don't have to be doing this. We choose to do it because we feel as Americans, maybe there's some way, we have a list of 2,000 people who are in jail around the world because of their religious beliefs. We helped to get a guy out of, a Coptic Christian out of jail in Egypt. There's so much that needs to be done, and Americans, younger Americans, need to rediscover their bipartisan, at least on human rights, their bipartisan muscles, which have almost completely atrophied. I grew up in the 20th century, late 20th century, during the Cold War. The Jews of the Soviet Union, 3 million of them, had no future, no chance of ever getting out. And a big piece of what eventually helped lead to the demise of the Soviet Union, nobody could have predicted it. But what I saw as a young person with people of different faiths, of both political parties, thinking about a guy like Sharansky who's, locked away in the gulag, and saying, what's the difference what political party we are? There's somebody out there that we think we can help because we're Americans, we might be able to leverage. I think at least when it comes to the area of human rights, when it comes to the area of making sure everybody in America could, be fed, it's 3 or 4 areas. We know what the hot button issues are. Even if you put that aside, and I think churches and synagogues and mosques have an important role to play there, which is to teach your membership, when it comes to these kinds of issues, as long as you're not required to put aside your own identity, you have to put your shoulder to the wheel to get the car out of the mud. Otherwise, we're all going to be stuck there.